What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub. Make sure you hit the bell. Now that you've done that, I appreciate you for tuning in. And what I wanted to talk about today is Crossout. It's already a popular card because we've been waiting on it for so long. But now we got to actually figure out, is it actually good or is it kind of being overhyped over here in the TCG? Let's look into it. I think the first thing, guys, I should do is talk about what's kind of understood. It's understood that Maxi doesn't actually exist over here at the moment. So therefore, we have to kind of walk into this scenario knowing that. I also believe that whatever the choice is on your card, it's going to depend on deck building evolution at the end of the day, 100%. Now, obviously the ban list, as I said before with the Maxi, if at the drop of a dime Maxi comes off the list, then suddenly Crossout matters a hell of a lot more than it did. Although it is a really powerful card, you still have to take into account that if you do play a specific card like Designator to pretty much out any other specific card that you're thinking about, i.e. a Dark Ruler No More, a Droplets, a Nibiru, any sort of hand trap that your deck may struggle with, you have to take into account that you're actually putting in multiple slots, and some can be dead cards. Now, that's not always the case, and obviously having a powerful card like Ash Blossom in your deck, or Nibiru, or some other similar card that you may die a horrible death to, and the reason why you want to play Crossout, it definitely isn't a huge drawback to be playing the card. However, there may be specific scenarios where you need the card, and it may not help you out the same way because, well, if you don't have the specific cards in your hand to be able to start your combo, you're just in a bad way. I think second of all, you have to kind of talk about the strong points of the card. The strong points of the card are if you have no extension past extenders inside of your deck. I'm thinking about a deck like Musketeers, a deck like Marincess, a deck like DDD. DDD is a little bit different, but DDD also kind of falls into the category of a deck that if you smack one of their plays, they pretty much get wiped out. That's just kind of how it is. That's where I feel that Crossout is really powerful. Now, it only can go up in power and popularity, and I feel like it really is contingent upon the Maxi thing that I talked about before. If Maxi comes off of the list, Crossout is going to be insanely popular and insanely needed. If it does not, this is genuinely my belief that Triple Tactics Talent is just a better card over here in the TCG, as well as a card like Called by the Grave. I honestly think Called by the Grave has a chance at getting banned. I don't think it's going to happen, but I definitely think Called by the Grave, at least over here in the TCG, is a far better card. I think it's a better card in general because you don't have to play anything in and of itself. It is a standalone card, and it also is one of the best trap cards in the game if you set it. That just kind of is what it is. I think a significant drawback to the card, at least over here, is that you have to really, and it's really in the OCG as well, but it's not as dead over there. The diverse format that we're in makes this card not as powerful as it could be. When the format becomes more focused, more centralized, maybe a triangle meta, a one deck meta, Crossout, I feel, is much like Droll, where it will shift with the meta. If the meta is specifically a certain amount of decks, Crossout becomes insanely popular. If it isn't, then Crossout suddenly goes way downhill, in my opinion, because then there's too many decks for you to try to prepare for. In this fashion, I really feel like it's a back and forth thing. Now, where is this card going to shine? Again, kind of a pro-con back and forth thing. This card is going to shine, in my opinion, in my estimation, in mirror matches. In mirror matches that really matter, hitting your opponent with maybe banishing an alpha or banishing a zeta versus Drytron can be detrimental as all hell to your opponent if you can catch them with it. Maybe it's the same thing with a card specifically in the main deck, maybe a Tri-Brigade Revolt, should it stay on this side of the ban list, so to speak. I do feel like mirror matches are really where it's going to matter. Obviously, you have other cards, other decks coming out. Flunderies comes to mind, where Crossout can actually be a combo piece or a chain blocker. A lot of the smaller birds, if you aren't familiar with Flunderies, actually trigger when they do get banished. So therefore, in a mirror match, it could actually be insane or help you to chain block your opponent in a specific scenario. I don't have that scenario offhand, but you guys know those specific scenarios come up where it can actually matter. Now the outs to specific stuff, the specific card, Crossout, I do feel like Engraver, Lancia, Delta are at least something to think about. I think Delta is gaining a lot of popularity, especially from my European friends. But I just don't feel like you need all that. And if you do, I really feel like Lancia does the job pretty much that you need for them to do, unless they just set Crossout and they're using it on the opposite turn. Now, clearly, guys, there's a lot I may have missed. Let me know down in the comments what your specific opinion is on Crossout. Is it good? Is it great? Is it overhyped? Have you had an experience playing against it? And what was it? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, let me know down in the comments how you feel about the card. I'm out. YG baby. Pegasus out. Au revoir. Arrivederci. Sayonara.